There are 11 rules in banana ball that make it different from baseball, and in this podcast we're going to go and break down each one and how it affects the game and how it makes it a little bit different from a strategy perspective and all of that. But if you're just joining us, this is the Banana Breakdown Podcast, and we're your hosts. I'm Brandon Brimley. I can sometimes be a little bit bananas.
I'm Sammy Collier, and I'm the life of the party.
Oh yeah. And so we're going to go over all of the rules that make banana ball different from baseball and why it's important. So starting off with number 1, win the inning, get the point. This is probably one of the most important rules in all of banana ball.
Yeah, to be honest, the first time I ever watched a game, Brandon was introducing me to it, and I turned to him and was like, what is going on? There's something wrong with the score bug here. The party animals have scored, and they're not showing that they have points. Brandon was very patient with me and explained the rules. So the winner of an inning gets the point until the 9th inning.
Yep, and so it's really cool because that way there's not these huge blowouts where the team is down 10-1 and it's the 9th inning, and like by that point people left in the 5th inning. They didn't care anymore because they're like there's no chance, or the chances are so slim. But this way it's even all the way to the 9th inning, and then you get these really cool endings.
Yeah, we've all been to those games that are just a snoozer right off the bat, unless it's your team being the one that is laying down the hammer and winning. If it's not your team, you're going to be bored pretty quick.
Yeah. And then on to number 2, the 2-hour time limit. So this is another rule that helps banana ball be super quick and be different from baseball.
Yeah, so like it says, there's only 2 hours. So the game's not going to last for 4.5 hours, and oh no, we're just finally got to the 9th inning. At 2 hours, no matter what inning that you're in, the game will end.
Yeah, so as soon as it hits that 2-hour time limit, there are no new innings that can be started. So most of the time they play it fast enough that we get to the 9th inning anyways, but if for any reason it did not get there, you're guaranteed that it will start to wind down at that 2-hour mark, which makes it really nice as a viewer to know, okay, it's coming to the end of it. Now it's going to get into a really good part of, hey, are they going to come back? Are we going to win? Because most of the time the game's within 2, maybe 3 runs in a blowout for banana ball, and so it's a really close game.
Yeah, so if you know I'm going to watch this game, you can block out 2 hours, maybe a little bit more for the game instead of having to block out your entire evening because the game just keeps dragging on. The next rule: no stepping out of the box, the batter's box. We've all seen comically long at bats in baseball, where part of it, people get it, like there's strategy involved. You're trying to figure out what pitch that the pitcher's going to throw. You're trying to do mind games to figure it out, and I appreciate that. But man, it sucks to watch.
Yeah.
Unless you really understand it, for the average viewer, a long at-bat like that, going in and out of the box, adjusting your pants, everything like that, it gets boring. And so I love this rule.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's one that you don't see it right in your face when you're watching banana ball like you do the timer or the differences in the points. But it's one that really affects the game, and it affects the speed. Just like the next one, which is number 4, no bunting. The way that they call it is they say, bunting sucks, just swing the bat. And I think there's some strategy to be seen in bunting, and there's some fun in that. But I do like that in this game, you're going for a home run, you're going for a really big hit, and so it makes it for these really cool moments that you can see.
The part of this rule that's hilarious is that if for whatever reason a player does bunt, they are ejected from the game.
This actually happened one time. It was obviously the Savannah Bananas and the Party Animals. They're never going to bunt. But they were playing against another team, and the guy forgot and just bunted. They ejected him from the game.
You're out, yeah. We don't do that here.
No bunting allowed.
Yeah. Here is one of my favorite rules, rule number 5. Batters can steal first.
So cool.
This one, when I started watching Banana Ball and I saw this happen for the first time, the thought crossed my mind, why is this not just the rule? Like, the pitcher should have to get it over the plate and should have to get it to the catcher, and if the catcher drops it. So So yeah, the stealing first would be if there's a wild pitch
Yep.
and the catcher doesn't get it, the batter can just run to first. It's always been that a runner could steal, second or steal third or steal home in an event of a wild pitch, but here the batter can just, take off.
Which is really, really cool to see.
Yeah, because then there's that weird rule in baseball where if you swing on a strike three that lands in the dirt, you can try to run to get to first.
Why is that the rule, but not this?
Yeah, the rule has never made sense to me. It makes so much more sense that if the catcher just doesn't catch the ball, you can just take off.
Definitely simpler as well for viewers to see. And then rule number 6, no walks allowed. This one is really fun. So in baseball, if there's 4 balls, it's a walk. The batter goes to first base. If there's someone on first base, they advance to second. If there's no one on first base, but they're on second or third, they stay where they're at. So it doesn't move the players that much when it happens, and that leads to intentional walking. So a really good batter comes up, the pitcher purposefully throws 4 balls because they don't want to face him, which is kind of boring. Like, we want to see the good players actually have a chance at bat. So in this, what happens is it's a ball 4 sprint. So if there's 4 balls, the batter immediately starts to run instead of walking, which is way more entertaining. And then every position player, so everyone except for the pitcher and the catcher, all have to touch the ball before they can apply a tag to the runner.
Yeah, so this will move runners that a walk wouldn't. Like you said, with intentional walks, you have a runner at second, the batter would just go to first, the runner at second wouldn't move. But in this situation, the runner at second can run all the way home. He can round third and run home because it takes a while to get everyone to touch the ball. And so this really discourages intentional walks. It really encourages just throwing strikes, right? And so that leads to more hits, that leads to more exciting play. And so when you really discourage walks like this, it makes the game a lot more exciting.
Yeah, and it's definitely when there's players in scoring position, it really comes into play because, that it's almost a guaranteed point if you do a ball 4 sprint and there's a runner on second or third. They almost always make it home.
Yeah, so the next one, Rule 7, no mound visits allowed. This is pretty simple. We've seen baseball games drag on because coaches and the catcher, the pitching coach and the catcher will go talk to the pitcher on the mound to see what's up. I've always wondered what those conversations are like. Why just throw it over the plate? Why are you sucking so bad? But yeah, so now you can't do that. You can encourage from afar, but no meetings on the mound.
Yeah, so another one like the bunting and stepping out of the box that you don't see a lot, but the fact that it is a rule really affects the speed of the game. And then number 8, which is one of my favorites, if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out. So this really encourages fans to bring their gloves, to pay attention to the game, because if the ball gets hit close to you, you can actually affect the game. And the really cool thing is that the Savannah Bananas or the Party Animals, whichever team you're helping out, most of the time they will welcome that fan onto the field, which is a really cool experience for a fan.
Yeah, we saw this when we went to the opening night of this season. A fan caught a foul ball for the Party Animals, and it ended the inning. It saved the inning for them.
Yeah.
And so this fan, who knows if he was a Party Animals fan or a Savannah Bananas fan.
Now he's a Party Animal fan.
Yeah, now he's a Party Animals fan. He's almost even a Party Animals player. He's a Party Animals legend. I need to get an autograph from him. It was awesome to see how excited he was, to see how excited the players were. That's always, catching a ball has always been a fun tradition of baseball, but this just takes it to another level.
Totally, and it really encourages it, and it adds that fun level of, we've talked about, of, hey, if you're in a Savannah Bananas jersey, do you try to catch the ball or do you hit it away? That's a really hard dilemma because you want the souvenir of the ball, but you don't want your team to get an out. And so there's some fun things there as well.
There might be some pushing and shoving between us if there's ever a foul ball coming.
You take it. I don't want to catch it.
Yeah. Well, you might tackle me if I'm trying to catch
That's true.
Catch an out. All right, rule number 9, showdown tiebreaker. So this is the most exciting overtime in sports. Instead of going to extra innings like baseball does, there's the showdown tiebreaker, which is a lot more like penalty kicks in soccer or a shootout in hockey, or like the trading 2-point conversions in college football overtime.
Yeah, and so basically how it works is there's multiple rounds. that keep coming as long as the game keeps being tied. So if the game is tied at 9 innings or when the 2-hour timer runs out, it goes to the first round of showdowns. What happens is there's the pitcher, the catcher, and an infielder. The fielder has to stay inside the grass of the infield before the ball is hit, and then they can run and chase it down. This leads to some really cool plays because if the player hits it and it goes all the way to the fence, they're in a really good position to get inside the park home run and score for their team. But if they hit it and it dies in the middle of the outfield, the fielder can get to it, throw it to the pitcher, and then there's really exciting plays at the plate that you get to see. And so we see a lot of that with these showdowns.
Yeah, the most exciting plays in baseball are inside the park home runs and really close plays at the plate.
Yeah.
And so this makes the most tense part of the game also have the most exciting plays. So you're going to end the game with some of the best plays all game.
Totally. And then with the other rounds, round 2, similar thing, but it's the pitcher and the catcher versus the hitter. There's no fielders, which is really exciting to see, especially when the pitcher gets a strikeout. Such a cool thing to watch. And then round 3 goes back to round 1, so you have a fielder again, but now the bases are loaded. So each round progressively makes it more and more difficult for there to still be a tie at the end of the round. But like we see in Banana Ball, a lot of times it goes to the 3rd or the 4th showdown because these teams are so competitive, and when it gets to this point in the game, they work so hard to try to not let the other team win.
Yeah, and then the last point there is that if at any point a home run is hit over the outfield wall, if there's ever a home run, it's an immediate walk-off and the game is over.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, so you still have that walk-off home run element, which is probably the most exciting play in baseball.
Yeah, and then one other thing with the showdown is if there's ever a walk in baseball or a ball four sprint here, it actually does like a ball four chase. So what happens is the pitcher has to run to the catcher, and then he has to hand off the ball from the catcher to the pitcher, and then he starts to run the bases after the runner, and he can only throw home when he gets to 3rd. So it kind of forces the play at the plate. And so then he runs around, when he gets to 3rd, he can throw it home and either tag him out or they score. So it discourages, again, them trying to intentionally walk. They have to throw the ball over the plate and then kind of see what happens.
Yeah, I really think that these plays that discourage intentional walks make the game so much more exciting.
Yeah.
Again, I understand the strategy there, and I appreciate the strategy, but it really makes it boring.
Yeah.
Because you watch a game because you want to see the best hitters hit. And so when you're purposely not throwing it over the plate, it makes the game boring.
Yeah. And then rule number 10, the Banana Ball Challenge rule. So this one is pretty simple. Each team is allowed to challenge one time, but also there's fan challenges, which are pretty cool. The fans, there's a person on the field, they essentially get to signal to the umpire whenever they want to challenge. So if there's ever a time you've been to a sporting experience where you think that the umpire or the ref is cheating and he's causing the game to be thrown in one way or the other, and you just really wish that you could force the challenge to happen, well, now you can in Banana Ball.
Yeah, it's awesome. The Banana Ball, their philosophy is fans first, and so this takes that to a whole new level. The fans actually can change the game by catching it out or change the game by challenging a play. But another part of this it doesn't explicitly say it in the rules, but something that I've noticed is that challenges go by really quick. They don't take forever for a review. So when they review a play, they make a decision really quickly. That's something that lately, watching basketball or watching football, that can really drag out the game. They always say it takes indisputable video evidence to overturn a call. I've always thought that you should look at it once, maybe 2 times, and if right then you don't see that there's indisputable video evidence, that should mean it is the most obvious thing, like it's the most glaring evidence that you got the call wrong.
Yeah.
If you don't see that right off the bat, then the play on the field should just stand. It should be 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes max to look at it, change the call, or not change the call.
Yeah, and the nice part is, as well, is even if it did take a little bit longer, each team has 1 challenge, and the fans each have 1 challenge. So there's a maximum of 4 challenges per game, if it even happens. And then the other thing is that when the fans challenge it, most of the time it's like, yeah, it's a really cool experience for the fan. I've actually seen it get overturned once, which was really cool to see. But most of the time it's like, no, the umpire had the better seat in the house. He saw it. It happened. It was right.
Yeah, where we're sitting in the stands, we do not have a clear angle. That's one of the funniest things is, I went to a basketball game this weekend and I'm up in the second bowl, the upper bowl, and I'm getting mad about foul calls. I don't have a better angle. I'm not on the court. It's funny, but it's a great experience for fans.
Yeah.
I would have loved to be able to challenge, but I would have been wrong. So.
And then finally, rule number 11, the golden batter rule. This one's really fun.
Yeah, so the golden batter rule, one time per game, each team has the chance to send any batter into any part of the lineup. He can bat at any spot. So in the most important situations, you get your best batter out on the field.
And so a lot of these are like 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th or the 9th inning. You're in a really good spot where you have someone on the base and you just really need the ball to get into play. You can take one of your hitters and put him in that place. And the really cool thing that can happen with that is you actually can have a batter bat twice in a row in the lineup.
Yeah, so we actually saw that recently in the games this month. The Bananas had DR Meadows bat back to back, and it was cool to see. Like you can see him feel out how the pitcher's pitching, and he was successful with both at bats. But you can, he's now in a rhythm when he goes out again, has a better idea, more likely to connect with the ball if you just went. So
yeah, and it's really cool to see because basically what they want to do is Jesse Cole was talking about it, and he said, if you're watching basketball, what happens when it's going to be a buzzer beater? You pass the ball to your best player. Best player gets a chance at the shot. But we don't always have that in baseball. It's really exciting when it does happen, but now you're putting up the best batter at that moment to give your team the best chance to come back or clinch the victory, and so it's really cool to see how that goes.
Yeah, so in that situation, you're going to have the best pitcher versus the best batter, and that's what you want to see in sports, the best of the best going at it.
Yep. And those are the 11 rules of Banana Ball, and they make it really fun to watch, make it really quick. And as time goes on, things may come and go in the rules of Banana Ball as the game changes. It's still a very young sport, but it's really exciting to see how they put the fans first with these rules, and they make it a really great viewing experience for them.
Yeah, each of these rules make it really exciting and also just fundamentally changes the strategy of the game. It is a different sport than baseball because of these rules. And so something that you may decide to do in baseball, you're not going to be able to do in Banana Ball and vice versa. So it really changes the sport, and these are some of the reasons why we love watching this sport.
Yeah. And if you'd like to see more Banana Ball breakdowns, we do podcast episodes where we talk about the standings, and we talk about some of these more fun topics in there of, hey, how does Banana Ball affect the way that we view sports as a whole, and some of that.
Yeah, so follow us on all social media and like and subscribe, and we're excited to keep this rolling.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Go Party Animals.
Come on.